How's it going, guys? This is sort of a new thing that I'm trying here. I'm trying to do a a live podcast and kind of use the YouTube as well. So just hold on here while I get the mic going. Bam! Now we're really live. We've got basically the podcast is being recorded right now, and of course we're live on YouTube here. So yeah, trying something different. A lot of ums and ums apparently, but I'm going to check out the way this works. So you have to kind of forgive me a little bit. It looks like I'm a little bit of rambling here. I'm going to set this up so it's a little bit closer to me. Okay. Yeah, guys. Well, you know what? Sorry, it's been a few, I think it's been a couple of weeks since we've done a podcast. But we've honestly been so busy here at Sudbury MMA that it's been really hard to actually get one in. So, you know what? Today is Sunday and I'm kind of like in between privates. I had one person cancel. So I figured what a great time. I might as well use this time to, hit up a podcast and let everybody know what's going on. So, you know what, last week was a crazy week. Actually, let's kind of like recap, like the whole month of, we're already at the end of May. The whole month of April and May, these 2 months were busy months for us. April, was the Nomad event. There's so much I can say about that. Of course, we had the Northern fights at the same time. And then, fast forward into May, and, we basically had a couple of big seminars with our main instructors. Professor Pat Cooligan from Ottawa came down and did a seminar actually just this week. And we ended up, not only was it a great seminar, but we ended up seeing some well-deserved promotions go out. So I'm just going to kind of click back to my screen here. I don't know if you guys have lost me if you're seeing my screen, but either way, I'm just going to scroll down and kind of take a look at the picture, make sure I don't miss anybody, and kind of talk about the promotions, because a lot of these promotions were like super well deserved. So I mean, basically moving into blue belt, we had Chelsea. Chelsea is someone that's been basically a member of Sudbury MMA for several years. She started with us over on Barry Down, and at one small point she moved away for school, and then as soon as she got back into town, she we were basically one of the first things that she's looked back up and got back involved in. So you know what, she's been training hard, she's been working hard on competition, made huge gains in her game, and it was awesome to see her get promoted with Professor Pat as well. Also at blue belt we have Uncle Darren. If you haven't seen any of the Uncle Darren posts, make sure to tune into any Friday night jiu-jitsu class. There's usually some post about Uncle Darren. Darren is pretty much part of the walls here at Sudbury MMA. He's been with us, pretty much since we've moved over here on Westmount, and he's pretty well lived at the club since starting. Basically ran through his last few tournaments. And anyone who's rolled with Darren knows he's got those nightmare grips type thing to try and break. Another well-deserved promotion, and super happy to see him at blue belt. And now he's going to put all the the masters on notice that he's coming. So it should be a lot of fun. James DeRoche, one of our original members from the South End. Like, he's been basically at the South End almost since its inception. And what makes it exciting for me is to see someone from the South End get promoted to blue belt. It's one of our first blue belts from the South End, so I'm pretty jacked about that. Mark Sharon recently competed at the Ontario Open. Not only did he compete in the gi division, but he also dived in with the Sharks in that no gi absolute division. Was kind of like basically open weights, open belt, and he basically did super well, finishing off with I think he won 4 matches in his gi category, and then went into the no gi. Fought a really tough dude in the first match, and then lost to a super high level brown belt in his second match. And this is a guy who was jumping in the competition as a white belt. So I mean, to see him do that was fantastic, and he's been training for a couple of years plus as well. So it was really jacked to see him get his blue belt there. Next up, we had Mrs. Tash. She teaches a lot in our kids classes and whatnot. She's another young lady that's been a staple here at Sudbury MMA over the last few years. She's here 4 or 5 days a week, usually training. Again, just ran through her competition at the last tournament. So, very excited to see her move up to blue belt, and, can't wait to watch her, try and work the level up in competition. Speaking of Uncle Darren, here he is, just showing up now. So I'm wondering, try and see if we can get him here on our YouTube live channel. Next up, guys, we had Bucko. Morning, Darren.
Good morning.
Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. I hope you all come out today. It's going to be a great day for rolling, and I challenge anybody to come here to
break his grips.
Break my grips.
That's right, man. Oh, no. So we had Bucko, Dan Buckland. This is a guy that's been with us for quite a while. Super dedicated, even though his job is takes a lot of his time. Has him traveling all over the place, and he still makes time to come out to Sudbury MMA, weekly. And it's kind of fun because normally he attends a lot of no-gi classes, and he attends more no-gi classes than gi classes. So you know what, we're telling him now he's got his blue belt. It's time to wear that gi a lot more often, and not change the grips instead of the back of the neck, grabbing lapels. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching him progress through his journey. We had Mr. Liam Leclerc. Like, this guy has been training for several years, and he's actually our first kid. He's not a blue belt, but he's our first young man that's been promoted to green belt, which, as everyone kind of says, it's the kid's black belt, right? So I mean, just a young guy, only 15 years old, but I believe he has a super bright future here. And in competition, he's taking competition super seriously. He'll be competing at the Budo, guys, so have at him. Come and get him. He's 15 last year in that division, so we're looking forward to seeing some big results from him. Had a couple of purple belts being promoted, so super exciting. James Hodgins, everybody, I think if you're on social media, you know who James is. The guy is on every single type of social media, via his photography business type thing. Shout out to miningphotographer.com. Big part of Sudbury MMA, huge part of the South End. Just all around great guy. Been, always one of the first people to help new guys when they come through the door. And, we were really pumped to see him get his purple belt. Another one of our guys who got a purple belt was Chris Cote. So, I mean, Chris Cote, crazy cardio Chris, as most people know. He's been around, man. He's been with Sudbury MMA dating back to the King Street days. So if you think about it, we were on King Street for 3 or 4 years. We were Barry Down for 5 years, and we've been at this location for I think 3 years now. So he's got a lot of time on the mats. Chris is probably one of the guys who spends the most time on the mats, as he's one of our instructors as well. Easily on the mats 30 hours a week between Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. And of course, we're pretty pumped to see him get his purple belt. Last but not least, guys, we had we had 2 other guys. We had Wob. Wob is a new addition to Sudbury MMA. He used to train out of Wama. And, I remember when we first found out Wob was coming to Sudbury MMA, I had all the Owama instructors, messaging me, almost cursing me, can't believe he's going to Sudbury, super, not upset, but super, down. So, upset that they were losing Wob. And when he first made his Sudbury MMA debut, it wasn't hard to see why these guys loved him so much. He's just all around great guy, always willing to help people out. I don't think he has a bad bone in his body, just a super, super nice guy. And you know what? A solid jiu-jitsu practitioner, heavyweight dude, man. You want to talk about pressure passing, this is the guy you want to roll with. So, big congratulations to Wob getting his purple belt. And then another man you want to talk about pressure passing is Big Mike Obey. Mike Obey has been around literally since the beginning. I've known him, man, since we were 14. And, he's been doing martial arts. We've been doing martial arts together ever since then. And, of course, he's a big part of Sudbury MMA, teaches in all the classes, the kind of guy who'll give you the shirt off his back, just super nice guy. And, super well-deserved to see him get his brown too. Yeah, so, I mean, as you guys can see, it was an absolute crazy night of promotions for the club. It was very exciting for me as an instructor to get to see the club literally level up overnight. Actually, let me go back to that picture. How many people are we there? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 new different colored belts in the club, which is a huge thing, for any academy, I think. They talk about the rolling deep, as they call it. For Northern Ontario at this point, we probably have, what do you think, Darren, how many blue belts at this point? We got to have over 25. Yeah, easily. We got easily 25 blue belts at this point. Purple belts. Are we sitting at 10 yet? Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to 10 in numbers of purple belt, I think, at this point. And then, of course, now we got our brown belt. So I mean, it's just crazy to see the club growing, and you think like the club it's changed so much in the last 10 years, and it's like truly a benefit to new people coming in. I remember the days like when the highest rank was a blue belt, and like people would be coming in as a white belt. You'd never have anybody do anything inverted or like try these crazy different types of submissions like an inverted triangle or something like that, or like these kiss the dragon type things like that. Just stuff wouldn't really occur, right? Whereas nowadays, just with the level of guys that we have at the academy now, like you're pretty much going to see any type of guard game, top game. You're going to see it all. Now people are starting to delve into the leg lock game. So I mean, every year the knowledge base kind of grows, and it's just like truly something exciting for people that are just coming into the club. Because I tell this to people all the time, the blue belts we have now are leaps and bounds above the blue belts from 10 years ago. And, I just think like 10 years from now, I got kids right now that their technique is crazy, so I mean, like, I can just only imagine what the level is going to be like for them in 10 years. Anyway, so what else is going on? This has been like I said, it's been a crazy time. We actually have the Worlds coming up. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. We just finished competing at the Ontario Open, probably one of the best showings for our club in the last like couple of years there. Like how many adults did we bring now?
11.
Yeah, and
9 out of 11 have placed in that.
Yeah, I mean, so we brought like 11 adults down, and came back with almost as much hardware. You know what I mean? So it just says something to how hard these guys are working. And sometimes, especially with the Ontario scene having taken a small break from competition over the last year, I guess, while they ironed out, the legislation and whatnot, it really says something. Sorry, it really says something to, how hard you're working. Because sometimes, as we're going through all the different classes, and as time goes by and you roll with the same people, it kind of can sometimes feel like, you're hitting plateaus. It almost feels as though you're not progressing as quickly as you like, but come the tournaments come back around, and then next thing you know, you kind of see like where you stand amongst people. What's up, Dylan? Dylan's back from on the road. Got a private coming up soon. So you kind of get to see, where your level's at, and you kind of get to see like, man, like the plateau you thought you were having. It's just because, you got the same training partners, and these guys they kind of know your game and whatnot. As soon as you enter, a tournament format or something like that, or you train at a different academy, you see that, your little tricks still work. And actually they're probably better because you've gotten slicker at them because your regular training partners know them, right? So, it was kind of awesome to see that happen. Our kids program put on a clinic there. It was fantastic to see, really great results there. And of course, what we do is when we go to these tournaments, we take some of the learning from these tournaments. They talk about the rub. The thing that we kind of got off there is, what we want to bring back to our kids and adults programs, and what we're going to be working on to kind of make us more efficient on the mats and whatnot. So anyway, that being said, yeah, next week, we don't slow down. We got a few guys competing at the Worlds. Actually, I think we have probably our biggest group to date going down to the IBJJF World Championships in Long Beach, California. So I mean, like, number one, just the experience of going to the Worlds is absolutely insane. Like, California is beautiful. Watching, the elite of the elite in the BJJ world competing, especially the black belt finals and whatnot, like, there's always something crazy that happens. I've gone there several times at this point. I try to make it an annual trip, and I'm pretty excited that, this year, not only do we have, I want to say 7 people competing. I'm pretty sure it's 7. We, not only do we have all these people competing, but we also have all these people that are going to be there and kind of get the experience of watching the black belts and brown belts and all, geez, man, nowadays even the purple belts, everybody's just so good, and see this, the highest level of the competition compete and perform. So, I mean, it's huge experience, and it's huge experience that, we bring back to the club in our efforts to level up, as we say. Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you follow us on social media by any chance, make sure that you keep an eye on Snapchat. You keep an eye on the Facebook pages. I'm going to try and we'll try and do some YouTube live stuff over there. And of course, some podcasts to keep everybody apprised of what's going on. It's going to be some great experiences. And, if you can't be there with us in person, you'll be there with us through social media. Anyway, guys, just wanted to put out a fast little podcast and fast stream out there to say hello to everybody. It is Sunday today, so if you're around, open mat starts at noon. We do have some BJJ privates happening before that. If you want to come in and be a Nuki for that, don't be shy. The guys always appreciate the training partners. Otherwise, see you guys at noon, and hopefully, actually, hold on, I keep forgetting I got my other one I'm recording here, so I'm gonna have to shut that one off. But hopefully, we'll see everybody soon, guys. And if not, have a great weekend. I will be here tomorrow. Et cetera. That being said, have a great weekend and see everybody soon. Ciao, guys.